Welcome to the Galapagos Islands and welcome on board the National Geographic Endeavour 2. We are very excited to have you on board and we're looking forward to this expedition. We're going to explore various islands, different ecosystems, and we'll be looking for a whole variety of wildlife. Unique to Galapagos because it's located in a very unique, one-of-a-kind setting in the East Pacific Ocean. Once again, welcome on board the National Geographic Endeavour 2.
It's been great to see all this lush green vegetation because, as a matter of fact, the Galapagos land iguanas have been very active, looking for food, getting some sunlight, acquiring some energy, and as well, some of them probably looking for mates to mate. It was amazing to find as well in some of the shrubs this amazingly cool bird known as frigate birds. We had the chance to find the great frigate bird nesting around here. But not only that, we had the chance to find big males with the gular sacs filled up with air. They do this in order for them to attract a female after building up a nest, like a turkey sound. This will actually seem pretty attractive for the female, so they can actually start looking for somebody they can mate and lay their eggs with. The blue-footed boobies hanging around, and starting, some of the courting displays. Courting displays that consist on the male showing the female his feet, making a W shape with their wings, pointing their bigs up, start whistling. If the female happens to respond with the same dance, it means that he probably has already accomplished. He will as well offer the female some twigs and pebbles, showing her that he can actually build up a nest and he can probably be one of the very best mates, to lay offspring with.
So we're here at Rábida Islands. What a great way to end this lovely day on this beautiful red sandy beach. So the coloration of the red sands of Rábida Island comes from iron that was available in the lava when the volcano was erupting. And over time, this iron oxidizes and it changes colors and it turns bright red. It's a great place to see the Galapagos sea lion. Typically we see the sea lion just kind of resting on the shore, just kind of taking in the afternoon. And this sea lion is actually endemic to the archipelago, and the closest living ancestral species of the Galapagos sea lion is the California sea lion. So we see a lot of similarities. Some of the big differences being the size. The Galapagos sea lion is a bit smaller than its ancestral species. And they're also super charismatic. They're so playful. Everything is a toy for this sea lion, so they're just such a joy to encounter, and especially on this beautiful beach and this beautiful backdrop.
Fernandina is amazing. It's considered the youngest island in the Galapagos. Walking in the lava field is like if you are traveling back in time, observing how was the first Galapagos Islands millions of years ago. Fernandina received the influence of currents. The terrain of the shoreline is very shallow, perfect to produce algae, and that is the reason of the largest marine iguana in the archipelago. The process of evolution after millions of years implied black skin. Black skin means they produce more D vitamin, they produce more melanin, and they absorb the heat much better. They drink salt water, and using the salt gland, they secrete salt through the nostrils. That means they sneeze salt.
Equator in the Galapagos. We've been walking among a nice forest, first of all of halophyte plants that can overcome these dry and salty ecosystems, but also among a bunch of these poisonous apple trees. Okay, poisonous apple might be considered to be kind of threatening for human beings because of the amount of acidity, but because of the slow digestion process of giant tortoises, actually they don't struggle on synthesizing all of these nutrients, okay? So they can actually munch on this certain type of fruit. They will be coming all the way from the summit of Alcero volcano all the way to the lowlands in order for them to lay their eggs. Since the upper soil in the highlands of the volcano, it's kind of more humid, that means more compacted, it's not much of a diggable terrain, okay? So the migration process of the giant tortoises will take them all the way to the lowlands where they will be able to find more dryish and loosened soil in order for them to lay their eggs. How can you tell the age of a giant tortoise? Because first of all, you take a look at its shell, okay? Inside of its shell, you have some certain type of plates. inside of each one of these plates, you're likely to find some rings. Anyways, because of the migratory patterns of the giant tortoises, they will be sort of, walking through very raw vegetation and among some lava rocks that, as a matter of fact, will be scratching their shells and polishing them up a little bit. If you can see, first of all, a big giant tortoise with a plate where you can barely see the rings, you can tell that it's a very mature giant tortoise. We have arrived this lovely afternoon in Puerto Vegas. Puerto Vegas is a lovely black sand beach, pretty much made up out of the eroded wet ash concrete or tuff that there is in the volcanoes adjacent to this area. We had a lovely hike getting to see a bunch of fur sea lions, a bunch of iguanas, a bunch of crabs, a bunch of shore bird species hanging around here, having a good time trying to look for all the nutrients they can possibly be feeding on.
The giant tortoise in Galapagos plays a really important role in the ecosystem. They're essentially the landscapers of our terrestrial environments, which means that basically they're kind of moseying around and eating all the plants and digesting the seeds and dropping them in their scat, which is kind of this perfect little package of nitrogen ready to go. Traditionally, if you think about other ecosystems in the world, when you think about who are the big mega herbivores, you think of giraffes, gorillas, right? Even manatees, which are all essentially mammals, right? Only in Galapagos do we see our big mega herbivores representatives coming from the reptile group, which is really interesting. Everything's kind of upside down in Galapagos. So we typically see the giant tortoises hanging out in these freshwater ponds, and they actually form them themselves typically. So think of like in the Sahara Desert where a little bit of rainfall falls and these big animals come and they start to disturb the sediments, and they continue to grow the pools bigger and bigger and bigger as more and more giant tortoises come to these ponds.
They're amazing animals. It's been just quite an experience to get up close to them. I've learned so much this week. I think I think my head's about to explode from all of that. So this has been a very different day today, in that we're in the highlands, we're in humidity, we're in lush forest, and of course we've gotten to see the tortoise, which is one of the signature animals of the Galapagos Islands. I'm having a great time and learning a lot.
Galapagos means a lot to me. It's been a very special place all my life. It's the place where I first felt that we could have a completely different relationship between people and nature. protecting the Galapagos it's an obligation that we have, something that we just all have to commit to. I don't think we have the right to take a place that's this special and then change it in a way that it no longer can have that special value. There's a tremendous amount to do to maintain the biodiversity on land and in the sea, and so thinking long term, I think a lot of the people who live here are going to be involved in that challenge one way or another.
This is a pristine environment which is found almost nowhere else in the world, and maintaining it this way is so important, not just for the animals here, found here, but also, you know, future generations of people to be able to see something as beautiful and amazing as the islands here in the Galapagos. It's a very special place.
Thank you very much for traveling with us among these amazingly big volcanoes, among this massive amount of reptiles, among all of these birds, among all of the wildlife that we have been able to check around the islands. We really hope that you have a safe travel back home and that at some point you'll be traveling again with us. Until that happens, we will be here waiting for you and so protecting the wildlife. Have a safe trip.